I didn't start Resident Evil at the beginning. I started with Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, and that changed everything.
Stars. Stars.
Jill!
Brad!
We've got to... Jill! Help!
No! Brad?
Stars.
I was a kid, and I was terrified. But when Nemesis spoke that single word,
Stars.
I froze. Zombies groaned, monsters roared, but he spoke. And when I fought him and died, I thought the game had permadeath, that I lost forever. I didn't touch the game again for years.
This pandemic has spread faster than any disease in modern history.
Angry mobs roam the city, burning buildings. Authorities are bracing for more rioting tonight.
He was knocked unconscious.
Citywide emergency is declared.
The CDC has quarantined the lower Midwestern region of the U.S.
Commitment, honesty, integrity, these are the core values that create the foundation for Umbrella. It's this foundation that will continue to build a brighter future for all of us.
When I finally went back, I chose to run. And I realized.
No!
Nemesis wasn't just a monster. He wasn't just a bioweapon.
Stars.
He wasn't just a villain chasing me across the city.
We've got to...
He was something else. Something supernatural. I didn't know it then, but that moment planted a seed that grew as I played more of the franchise. Because the deeper I went, the more I realized Resident Evil isn't a survival horror game about science gone wrong. It's a supernatural story wearing a lab coat. I played Resident Evil out of order. After Nemesis, I went backward. Resident Evil 2, then Resident Evil 1, and each game felt different. Resident Evil 2 had the same Raccoon City nightmare, but it felt hollow, not haunting. Maybe because of the cut content I learned about later, it felt like pieces were missing, like it almost wanted to go somewhere darker, stranger, but didn't. But then Resident Evil 1, the mansion, that was different. That felt supernatural. The instant you step inside, the silence.
I don't know what happened.
Barry! Where's Barry?
The architecture, the way the mansion seems to swallow you whole. It wasn't just a laboratory disguised as a house. It was a haunted house disguised as a lab. And everything that followed confirmed it. Behind every scientific explanation was something that felt older, unknowable, cursed. Then came Resident Evil 4. I was amazed by the gameplay revolution, the free aiming, the intense action. But something didn't feel right. It was fun, but it wasn't haunting. It was missing that supernatural weight. And maybe that wasn't an accident, because Resident Evil 4 originally had a different direction. Leon was going to experience hallucinations, ghosts, visions, a more supernatural horror, but they scrapped it. And I wonder, why? Why was the series pulling away from the supernatural? Or was it always there, just hiding deeper? Because when I think about Leon's arc, Resident Evil 2 and 4 both carry hints of him as an anomaly, a character tied to strange forces. Both games almost embrace the supernatural through him, but pulled back. Then I reached Resident Evil 5 and 6. The action was louder, the monsters bigger, but underneath the explosions were still whispers of godhood. Spencer wanted to become a god. Wesker wanted to transcend humanity. Their goals weren't scientific, they were mythic. And when Resident Evil 7 and 8 arrived, those whispers grew louder. Gothic castles, witches, vampires, immortality, and a lore connection that tied everything together. Spencer visiting Mother Miranda in Eastern Europe, taking samples, returning home to create the T-Virus. Dear Miranda, my deepest apologies for not meeting you in person. I would love nothing more than to visit your quaint village once more. However, I am incredibly busy. Then again, I suppose for an immortal woman such as yourself, you no longer remember this poor, half-dead medical student in the snow. I have always cherished the revelations I came to 15 years ago when I stayed in your village. I was inspired by your research. To think one could transform a human by infecting them with an organism. Positively visionary. I knew that with that knowledge, I could achieve my own vision for the next step in human evolution. Even after 2 world wars, and humanity on the cusp of another, my conviction never wavered. I realized, however, through the many nights of intellectual talks you and I shared, that your conviction differed from mine. You hoped to bring back a single dead person, while I aimed to change the world. Your experiments on the mode would not have aided me in my endeavor to achieve an exponential infection. I thought a virus would be more effective. This is why, my dear, I had to leave you. I still regret never telling you goodbye. My apologies for reminiscing. I actually have news that I thought might please you. I have found the key to evolution, the progenitor, a virus found in Africa. I plan to start a company with friends and colleagues dedicated to the virus's research. I will call it Umbrella, just like the symbol in the cave that we spoke about. I am one step closer to making my vision a reality. I hope you will be able to achieve your goal someday too. You taught me so much, and for that, I will be forever in your debt. Sincerely, your lifelong student, Oswell E. Spencer. How do you bottle godhood into a virus? How do you translate a curse into a parasite? How do you explain the unexplainable? The more I searched, the more it felt like Resident Evil's lore wasn't a science textbook. It was a scripture, a collection of fragmented myths, rewritten as virology, a Bible of biotech. And it wasn't just the main games. The spin-offs whispered the same strange truths. Resident Evil Revelations, a title invoking prophecy. The final boss, Norman, echoing imagery from the Book of Revelation, speaking lines that sound like prophecy.
Vengeance of God, oh, how much oughtest thou? By each one to be dreaded, who doth read that which was manifest unto mine eyes. Pape Satan, Alepe. Each one shall find again his dismal tomb, shall reassume his flesh and his own figure, shall hear what through eternity re-echoes.
Before he vanishes, flashes of light, teleportation, duplicating himself like a ghost, as if he's acting out of divine retribution.
I don't think he's in the mood to say goodbye. I can't see now.
Damn, it's like a disco ball's in front of my face.
Revenge is consumed him. Nothing human remains.
Resident Evil Genesis, Survivor, stories framed as origins, awakenings, rebirths. Even their titles felt biblical, as if they weren't just games but parables, pieces of a larger myth. The more I played, the more I saw the pattern. Nemesis wasn't just a bioweapon. He was an unstoppable revenant. The mansion wasn't just a research facility, it was a haunted house. The viruses weren't just engineered diseases, they were modern curses. And the monsters weren't the final horror. The real terror was the desire to transcend humanity, to play God, to create immortality, divinity, by unnatural means. Every story in Resident Evil is a story of people reaching beyond human limits and being punished. When Nemesis rose from the flames, sang stars, wasn't just a monster.
Listen, he's coming for us.
He wasn't just a science experiment.
We're both gonna die!
He was a symbol of death.
There's no escape!
Of inevitability.
He's playing with us. Carlos, do you think that it's unstoppable?
Of the supernatural force that haunts every corner of Resident Evil. I didn't start Resident Evil at the beginning, but maybe I started exactly where I needed to see what was really hiding underneath.
Resident